Presiding Officer, when we go into another country, we present our passport, and in the cover of the passport it says, Her Britannic Majesty's Secretary of State requests and requires, in the name of Her Majesty, all those to whom it may concern to allow the bearer to pass freely without let or hindrance, and, this is the crucial point for this debate, to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. So when they accept someone into their country, they're in essence making a contract with us that they will honour that request from Her Majesty. But of course, the debate is about whether the support that we get from our own institutions in working with foreign jurisdictions meets the requirements that we have. Are they getting the assistance they need? And before I move into the substance of my debate, I just want to personally give a little vote of thanks to Chloe Henderson, who is a pupil at Fraserburgh Academy, who's been with me this week on placement, who has done the research and written the notes for my speaking tonight, and she's done very well. Like others, my constituency has experienced difficulties with people abroad, people dying, but I do want to speak about one with a slightly happier outcome, but nonetheless illustrates the need for appropriate support. Let me acknowledge that people need access to information and support at times of bereavement abroad, and they encounter endless obstacles and unanswered questions, both from the Foreign Commonwealth Office and the foreign jurisdiction. There are many logistical challenges that are made harder by potential language barriers, including contacting local authorities, funeral directors, caseworkers. I want to just talk for a minute or two about my constituent, Mr. Alan Wright, that my MP colleague Ailey Whiteford supported, who's from Portsoy. It was his family in the northeast of Scotland who needed consular assistance after he was taken hostage while working in an Algerian oil field in 2013. What he thought was a power cut turned out to be a terrorist attack by militants in Amenas oil field. Mr. Wright and a colleague were forced to hide in a room with only a satellite phone to connect them to the outside world. In a television interview at the time, Mr. Wright, aged 37, half my age, recounted 9 terrifying hours he and colleagues spent trying to remain hidden. Others who were subject to that were not as fortunate and were killed. Mr. Wright had to make an emotional call to his family at home, not knowing if it was his last. He chose not to speak to his 2 daughters, as he didn't want them to remember the last phone call over a crackly line. He said, "You fear the worst, you can't put words into how bad you feel." So that's the environment into which we expect the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the Scottish Government, and local jurisdictions to respond to the needs of those in Mr. Wright's circumstance and his colleagues who were killed. It was a happy ending for my constituent, but it illustrates the general point. Relatives who are looking for help often simply don't know what the questions they should be asking are, far less what the answers that they need. So let me just conclude, Presiding Officer, by saying it isn't simply a matter for a couple of people in my constituency or scattered around members' constituencies represented tonight. A 2015 survey sent to 150 families found they didn't feel supported by the experience of trying to bring a loved one home after death. And more than half said the FCO were not at all helpful. In times of grief, there are many unpredictable factors. The people who are grieving are vulnerable and need a very special kind of help and support that has to be tailored to their individual needs. And I hope that this debate will play its role in alerting Scottish administration, but also the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and the jurisdictions abroad to providing an enhanced and more relevant form of support to those who lose people abroad. Presiding Officer.